Hello friends, this video on capacitors and capacitance part 1 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. The topics to be covered in this lesson are electrostatics in conductors, dielectrics and polarization, capacitance, parallel plate capacitor, combination of capacitors, and energy in capacitor. So in this lesson, we will basically study about capacitors. I think this name might be new to most of you. I mean, not most of you, instead I would say to all of you. So we will first see what is a capacitor. And then we will get into detailed study of capacitors, right? So before even we start knowing what a capacitor is, let us see what is the need of studying capacitor. I mean, why are we studying capacitor? What is it? Or where do we see it around us? I hope all of you must be having several electronic devices at your homes. Your computer itself, you take as an example. Now, if you see the interior circuit of any of the electronic devices, be it your motherboard or any other electronics, be it a motherboard or any other electronic device, you would see that there is a board with so many electronic components embedded on it, right? Which looks somewhat like this. So on this board itself, you see something called capacitor, right? So here if you see these small things which you can see here, right? Which looks like circles, or if you see it from there, or if you try to see it more closely, it will look like something of cylindrical shape, right? So these things are nothing but your capacitors. So basically, till now, what idea did you get? Capacitor must be something which is a kind of electronic component of which these electronic devices are made up of, right? So in this lesson, what we will study is what is a capacitor, how does the capacitor work, what is the function or what is the purpose of a capacitor, why do we use them in such circuits, and all such things. So here you saw where do you basically see capacitors, so that you just get a rough idea of, okay, this is what we are going to learn about, right? So now let us come to the slide which will talk about what is a capacitor, right? Capacitor is a device that was clear from the previous picture, right? So it is a device that can store large amount of charge. So this capacitor, main purpose of the capacitor is to store large amount of charge in a small space. So the term capacitor means capacitor basically judges the capacity to store charge. So from there you get this name capacitor, right? So capacitor will store huge amount of charge in a small space. So how will it do that? How will this device store charge? Or what is of what things is this device made up of? So be patient. We will know each of these one by one. So basically, what does this capacitor consists of? It is an arrangement of two conductors separated by an insulator. So again, you have two terms here, conductor and insulator. So basically, I am very sure that all of you must be knowing what is a conductor and what is an insulator. Conductor is something which allows electricity to pass through it. So which we mostly call as good conductors of electricity, right? And when we say an insulator, it means something which is not a good conductor or which is a bad conductor, which doesn't allow electricity to pass through it. So basically, a capacitor will consist of two conductors, and the two conductors will be separated from each other by an insulator. Now see, here when we talk about, all of you will be knowing these definitions of conductors and insulators. But when we try to know how does this arrangement helps in storing charge, we will have to know more about conductors as well as insulators. So first here, let us look at the arrangement. How does it roughly look like? So let us suppose these two are two plates or which are conductors, that is they allow electricity to pass through it. Now they are separated, so these two plates are conductors. They are separated from each other by this distance. So what is there in this distance? This region is filled with nothing but insulator. So this region has insulator in it. So this medium is an insulator, which is a bad conductor of electricity. So now it is not necessary that it has to be in this form. Capacitor can be any such arrangement. For example, not only these parallel plates, instead of the plates, you can also have two spherical conductors which are separated by an insulating medium. So that is also possible. That is also known as a capacitor. So now our aim is to see how will this arrangement help in storing charge. So we will study about that. Before that, let me tell you how do we represent a capacitor in our circuit diagrams. Like you all know, right? And when we talk of physics, we draw the circuits. That is what we call a circuit diagram. Just now I showed you the circuit of a motherboard, right? So when in terms of physics, when we theoretically want to draw a circuit diagram, there are certain symbols which we use for each device. So the circuit symbol which we use for a capacitor is this one. So where these two lines represent two conducting plates and separated by some distance. This is how it is represented in our circuit diagrams, right? So remember this representation, because once you pass through the first, say, 7 to 8 slides, and then you will see these symbols everywhere. So now how does this capacitors look like? If you go to your physics laboratory in your schools, you would see, if you ask the lab guy that give me a capacitor, they will look somewhat like this. They are all different kinds of capacitors with different capacity ranges, right? So this is how your real capacitors look like. They will be very tiny. They are not some huge things, as you have already seen, right? Your motherboard or any electronic device which you see, inside that device you have so many small circuit elements, and one of those small circuit elements is a capacitor. So these are also very small objects, right? So this is how a capacitor look like. So as I told, capacitors can also be of this form. Here you can see these are the two spheres. The two spheres are conducting spheres. So they are two conductors separated by insulator medium. That means the space between the two spheres will be separated by some insulating medium, right? So this was the very basic of what a capacitor is. So till now, what did we learn? We learned that a capacitor is a device that can store huge amount of charge in a small space, right? What is it made up of? It is made up of two conductors separated by an insulator. Now, in order to know how this arrangement stores charge, it is important to know how does a conductor behave in electric field. For example, because this is all we are studying about now, right? We will talk about charges. As soon as charges come into picture, too many charges coming into picture, electric field will come into picture, electrostatic potential will come into picture, right? All these things will start playing a role. So now we have to see how does all these phenomenon of electrostatics affect a conductor or affect an insulator. Because I don't think you all are aware of that. You all just know a conductor is a good conductor, insulator is a bad conductor. So before I talk about how a capacitor works, I will talk about the behavior of conductors in electrostatics, or basically we can say that we will study about electrostatics of conductors, right? So for the next few slides, we will study about conductors, how they behave in electric field, right? And then we will talk again about capacitor and then keep continuing. So let us first have a quick review of conductors versus insulators. I know that all of you are aware, but still let me have a quick review. So let me first talk about conductors. As you all know, conduct electricity. Examples, most famous examples, metals. Metals are good conductors of electricity. This is what you have been studying since your maybe 5th grade or 6th grade, right? So conductors, examples, metals, salt solutions, acids, earth, human body. These are all the most famous examples of conductors, right? Conductors have free electrons or ions. Free electrons or ions are charge carriers. This is an important point because this is the basic funda which makes a conductor conduct electricity, right? Because in conductors we have free electrons. What are free electrons? Okay, let me explain this. Even though you know it, let me explain it for review. So what happens basically is that when we basically look at the configuration of any metal or any ions, what are ions basically? Ions are nothing but which has some positive charge or negative charge, some charge, right? So how are ions formed? Ions are formed when a metal loses one electron or gains one electron, right? So that means in case of ions or in case of metals, their electronic configuration is such that the electron in the outermost shell is free. So that electron is not very tightly bound to the atom or to the nucleus rather. So that is why when it gets some opportunity to jump somewhere or the other, it jumps. So that electron or these kind of ions, they are all free to move around. So these free electrons basically conduct the electricity. So they act as the charge carriers, right? So this is what happens in case of a conductor. Whereas when we talk of insulators, they do not conduct electricity. For example, rubber, plastic, glass. So they do not have any charge carriers to conduct electricity. So if we look at some example, let us suppose this is a metal. So as I told you, these metals will have free electrons which are free to move around here and there. So these free electrons, don't just go by this picture. You will not see a metal in your hand and inside that electrons running and jumping here and there. What I'm trying to say is, what is this metal made up of? Any object which you see around yourself, what is it made up of? This metal is also made up of atoms, right? It has atoms. Those atoms in turn will have a nucleus inside which you have proton. For example, this metal is made up of some atoms. Let us suppose these are my atoms. Now these are my molecules. These molecules are again made up of atoms, right? Let us suppose these are the atoms. Now each of these atoms will have a nucleus inside which you will have your proton and neutron and the electrons revolving around them, right? So each of these atoms will have that. Now you go into, so that is when we look at the atomic structure, it looks somewhat like this. If you look at this, this is your nucleus inside which you have your neutrons and protons, right? And these are the electrons which are revolving outside. So what happens in case of metals, or rather in case of conductors? One of these electrons are not very tightly bound to this nucleus. So now if it is not very tightly bound, there is a possibility that if it gets a chance, it will try to move around here and there. Right? So these free electrons basically act as charge carriers. Since they are free to move around here and there, so they are able to carry charge from one place to another, and as a result, conductors are able to conduct electricity. Contrary to that, when we talk about insulators, let me talk about a log of wood. So in that case, what happens? They do not have free electrons inside them, because of which there is no conduction of electricity. So this is something which you already knew, right? You already knew what is a conductor, what is an insulator, why conductors conduct electricity, and why insulators do not. So now that with this basic idea, we will now study the electrostatics of conductors. That is, how do conductors behave in presence of electric. Thank you. Please visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thank you once again.